A thing about Ranbir Kapoor that none of your co-stars have ever had.
I mean, it's something in him that nobody else
Yeah,
has.
yes.
Hold on.
Respond! Say something! Yes, Chief. No, Chief.
The pregnant pause, I must say.
This is a small snippet of the kind of interviews we will be shedding light on in this video. I just have to tell you that only a few get the privilege to talk to Indian celebrities where there isn't a time crunch or even a memo given of what can and cannot be asked. The moment you are in a position of power and the celebrity has context about what you do, then only does it lead to a flow in conversation. Otherwise, for the most part, the hovering PR teams are an absolute menace, interjecting and stopping you the moment you are getting into the territory they don't want to be discussed. You will notice that my conversations with celebrities have also shrunk to a minimum precisely because of this. The only motivating factor for me to really interact with a celebrity now is only dictated by if I really love them and respect them as actors or artists. Anyway, you will notice through this video that many of the interactions that feature are either established journalists where there is an atmosphere of reverence and respect for the interviewer, or it essentially is interviews that happened many years ago, where the sense of control of the information that goes out to the public was not as invasive as it is today, where journalists almost had the audacity to ask the good, bad, and the ugly. We're going to talk about interview moments where either the questions asked by the journalists led to rather awkward moments, or the answers given by the celebrities generated side eyes from audiences and their co-actors too, joining them for the discussion. So here is Tried&Refused Productions with when Bollywood interviews get awkward and uncomfortable. Salman Khan. It is one of my goals in my professional career to have a discussion with Salman Khan that I can share with all of you. There are several hurdles, of course, that make it next to impossible for this to be a reality. Some of which include Salman not being keen on many interactions unless they are global events like the Saudi Red Sea Film Festival, the sporadic nature in which his movies release, and most importantly, his mood. A lot of journalists have told me that an interaction with Salman Khan can go any way. Either it can be an absolute goldmine because he has an effective dry sense of humor, mostly self-deprecating in nature, and he has stories for days. But if you were to catch him on a bad day, you can be certain that you will be handed over monosyllabic replies.
Dude!
In an interview with Anupama Chopra for the Star World show The Verdict, Salman Khan had a clear stance on what he feels about movies that fail at the box office.
If the film is not done well, the film is a bad film. Film नहीं चली, audience ने आपकी film reject की है. Film is not good.
He defends this by saying that movies are made to make money and be popular amongst the masses, and if they don't do financially well, they should be considered to be poor films.
कभी-कभी फिल्म अपने वक्त से आगे होती है और बाद में लोग उसे अप्रिशिएट करते हैं.
आप उसको कुछ तो उस वक्त मत बनाओ.
वक्त पे बनाओ.
हाँ, वक्त पे बनाओ.
I don't know whether this was Salman being in one of his moods, especially if I were to consider his own filmography with movies like Khamoshi and Janeman being brilliant but being rejected by the audience, but I guess this is where I would like to respectfully disagree with his creative stance. I would love to know, however, what you think about it. Priyanka Chopra. There was a clip that I had shared last year about the absolutely terrible treatment that Malika Sherawat was subject to when she made a statement at the Cannes Film Festival in 2014, calling India regressive and depressing for women as a society, and the Indian media, upon her arrival back to home turf, reprimanded her for being critical of India on a global stage.
The only point was that in an international platform and everybody is looking at Malika Sherawat representing India, you go out there and say India is regressive.
I'm never going to lie. ये hypocrisy जो है ना हमारे समाज में, ये hypocrisy जिसका जो करते कुछ और हैं दिखाते कुछ और हैं, तो आप मुझे ये कह रही हैं कि औरतों के साथ अपने समाज में ये अत्याचार हो रहा है, हो रहे हैं, ये ऑनर किलिंग्स हो रही हैं औरतों के साथ, और कोई मुझसे सवाल पूछता है तो मैं ना बोलूं?
While I fully back the courage of what Malika Sherawat stood for, being bombarded essentially to lie and paper over the cracks or problems that exist in Indian society, what I found extremely disappointing in the same environment was how Priyanka Chopra reacted to the same statement. She said while she agrees that India has its problems, it was a misrepresentation of the country on a global stage.
Here talking about educating the girl child, we are all sitting here talking about taking our country forward, and I think it's a misrepresentation representation of what our great nation is in a world platform. So I think it was something that I felt extremely offended by.
And this is a problem that still exists in our discourse about the nation, where any criticism is regarded as anti-national activity, where anyone who speaks about our problems is thrown whataboutism or strawman arguments, and we never ever address our problems with the fear of the perception people will have about our nation. Most people critical of our society and systems convey it because we want to be better and don't want to stay in denial or delusion. And I think Mallika was fearless in having such a stance more than a decade ago. The Directors Roundtable. This is something that happened recently and I had thoughts about that led to a lot of people getting triggered from within the film industry. In the Directors Roundtable with Hollywood Reporter India, directors and storytellers were conveying how the footfalls in theatres have significantly reduced. And this is a never-ending discussion on every film roundtable, even if I go all the way back to 2017. However, when directors were asked about the last movie they saw and felt it was magical, many referenced the one-off Hollywood film, a lot of them conveying on how they barely got any time to watch films in the year, to which Mohit Suri had a valid point to convey.
Didn't get time to watch many things.
Y'all don't go to them. See, we all crying about theatres. Y'all don't go to theatres.
No, because I was also.
I go for every film. Like, see, all of y'all are crying that no one goes to theatres.
There is not a bigger pet peeve, in my opinion, than a creator, writer, or actor who does not watch movies. I'm not saying that they should be up to date with everything week in and week out. Those are for consumers. But I am blown away by the fact that one can be absolutely clueless about what's happening in the industry. I find it so ironic that creators and actors themselves convey on how they don't remember the last time they went into the theatre and then complain on roundtables on how audiences are not coming to theatres. One, in my opinion, should be aware and mindful of what is being made or why films are being rejected or celebrated on the big screen. I understand that one is invested in creating rather than consuming, but it doesn't mean that one should only work in a vacuum and then be flabbergasted by the fact that no one is stepping in for their film. Jaya Bachchan. This is officially a Jaya Bachchan defense PR video because I am absolutely done with her being dragged with these paparazzi videos, and I say this with utmost sincerity. A lot of people with the advent of social media only have the perception of Jaya Bachchan being perpetually annoyed. It became set in stone in such an invasive fashion that everyone assumed her role in Rocky Aur Rani Ki Prem Kahani to be tailor-made for her. But I just want to tell you that my mother's generation remember her as a true artist on celluloid, a child star, a trained and accomplished actor from the institute, and an artist revered for her craft. I just want to put it out there that she's so much more than the pap videos you see of today. You just have to see Guddi, Abhiman, Hazar Chaurasi Ki Maa or Fizza to know this. While I say all of this, Jaya Bachchan of course has quite an unfiltered stance on most things. In an interaction with Barkha Dutt recently, she roasted the paparazzi, leading to cheers and claps from the audience.
मगर ये जो बाहर ये ड्रेन पाइप टाइट गंदे गंदे पैंट पहन के हाथ में मोबाइल लेके, they think that that's because they have a mobile they can take your picture and say what they want.
While her irritation is fully warranted, I think it reeks of privilege also just a tad bit. The paparazzi is a new form of media that should be acknowledged, but I think their rowdy ways and lack of tact needs to be called out too. I think things get especially awkward when Jaya Bachchan is rather unfiltered on her stance about marriage. Things were especially awkward when asked about what Amitabh Bachchan would think about their union.
Mr. Bachchan have the same views on marriage as I have not asked him. He might say that biggest mistake of my life, but I don't want to hear that.
What did he say?
She always has gems to share, but my god, can it generate crickets with some answers. Vidhu Vinod Chopra. If there is one creator who, just like Jaya Bachchan, has absolutely zero filter, then it has to be Vidhu Vinod Chopra. The man will not only share his honest thoughts, but he will go out of his way to match it with an appropriate swear word too. In an interview when asked about the popularity of social media influencers, he said something that only sounds right from his mouth.
क्या word use कर सकता हूँ? वो नेट में जाके ऐसे खड़ा होता है 5 million हो गया, इसका 10 million हो गया. Brands go to that fellow and say बाप हमारा product बेच दो यार. वो फिर खड़ा हो जाता है, ए टिफिन खरीदो, जो खरीदो. What the going on?
For anyone who has seen Vidhu Vinod Chopra across the years would tell you that this isn't anything new, and this was at its most awkward best when he was doing a press conference for Three Idiots and the team was dealing with the accusations of the lack of credit and changing narrative of the original text from Chetan Bhagat, the makers of the movie having bought the rights of his book 5 Point Someone. What's crazy is that after the film gained great momentum and massive box office numbers, Chetan Bhagat did a turncoat on how he wasn't given a narration or made clear about the change in structure, while having actually signed an NDA and clearly stating in interviews on how he knew how Three Idiots was shaping up.
Raju had narrated the full script to me 2-3 times actually of what he was planning to make. I said it is nice.
He's even gone on print a couple of months back and said that he has heard the final script and he's liked it.
The makers were infuriated on such accusations of a breach of trust, culminating into Vidhu Vinod Chopra losing his cool on the media.
No, have you read the book? No, I'm asking you, have you read the book? No, you have not read the book. No, you have. So shut up.
विदु आपने बुक पढ़ी है? आपने बुक पढ़ी है?
आपको एक बात
अच्छा मैं आपको पूछता हूँ इसमें क्या लिखा है बताइए. मैं वो पूछता हूँ. कैसे आप नॉनसेंस की बात कर रहे हैं? आप बात कैसे कर रहे हैं?
I haven't seen Amir Khan try to control a room more than this. Ranbir Kapoor and Anushka Sharma. There are some cases where the actors don't understand time and place. What is a public forum and what should be restricted to the sanctity of a private conversation? And I think Ranbir Kapoor often finds himself in situations where he gets ahead of himself in interviews, in turn revealing sensitive details that have no place being public headlines. While promoting Bombay Velvet on the show titled On the Couch with Koel, which is quite notorious for its awkward moments and the assumption of the host that she's best friends with everyone, Ranbir Kapoor spoke about on how Anushka struggles to interact with strangers and how she has to depend on anxiety medication to suppress her nerves.
Anushka is like, she's the anxiety queen.
Yeah.
Like, she has to pop Restylls to even like have a conversation.
These details are something that have no place being discussed on a public platform. Throwing Anushka under the bus was rather immature from Ranbir and Anushka. Clearly getting flustered and awkward in the process, she had to make sure that Ranbir got a taste of his own medicine.
He's such a otherwise fickle person, so he has to like do a couple of
Yeah, but what is he doing? Oh, lines.
Don't say that, Anushka.
I think Ranbir often gets ahead of himself, finds himself the topic of national debates, and then wonders what all the fuss is about. Esha Deol. One of the most tone-deaf statements from an actor has to be when Esha Deol was asked about her conflict on set with Amrita Rao. They did a movie together called Pyare Mohan that many people may not remember, and rumors were circulating during the time about how the actors got into a scuffle and things got so heated that Esha Deol ended up slapping Amrita Rao. This could be regarded as hearsay, something similar to how people react to the conflict between Raveena Tandon and Karishma Kapoor during the shooting of Andaz Apna Apna, or Kareena Kapoor and Bipasha Basu during the shooting of Ajnabi. However, Esha Deol, with a smugness and confidence, confirmed the rumors and stated that her act was fully warranted, the same being embarrassingly supported by her mother Hema Malini as they sat together during an interview on the show Aapki Adalat.
Co-star Amrita Rao है, उनको थप्पड़ मार दिया था. मारा था?
मुझे याद नहीं है.
While she neither confirms nor denies hitting Amrita Rao, she did confess to it in a print interview with the Times of India. She, with her mother in the Aapki Adalat interview, does confess to slapping a journalist for a report they published on Dharmendra. Of course, met with the cheers from the audience.
समझाने के बाद भी नहीं समझते हैं तो कुछ अलग ढंग से समझाना पड़ता है.
तो ये बड़े हाथ किस काम के आए? किस चीज का काम आएगा?
Alia Bhatt. I love actors who are confident, who are secure with their craft, and one such actor in Hollywood is Timothée Chalamet. He was really criticized for his speech when he was given the SAG award for his performance in A Complete Unknown, for he said that I'm really in the pursuit of greatness. I know people don't usually talk like that, but I want to be one of the greats. This is, in my opinion, an extremely refreshing stance to have publicly for two reasons. It's contrary to the apologetic stance people have of their own craft, never giving it the gravity it deserves, and two, you can see it in the work that Timothée is putting in the effort. However, there is a difference between wanting to be one of the greats versus comparing your performance to a legend as a passing statement. This became especially awkward when Alia was asked whether the rise of alpha males will sideline women in cinema, and she said that audiences mentioned her performance in Gangubai had the aura of Amitabh Bachchan.
No, but people call me Amitabh Bachchan in Gangubai. They say 4 foot ki Amitabh Bachchan hai, but that's a different thing.
She was great in the film, and I know that she's not serious, but this is when most pragmatic folk would want to tell Alia to just chill out. You don't need to push it. I know what she was going for when saying this, that alpha doesn't need to be sex specific, but it came across as a parallel or a comparison with a legend like Amitabh Bachchan. The round table with Akshaye Khanna. I know that everyone is talking about Akshaye Khanna post Chhava and Dhurandhar, but my man's attitude is something I think every introvert spiritually connects connects with because he implicitly does not care, and it reflects in several of his interviews. Something that especially stood out when he accompanied actors on a roundtable discussion, casually sitting in the corner and observing, while the other actors like Shahid, Ranveer, especially Ranveer, Ayushmann and Vijay bounced off of walls, and Akshay just casually did not remember the nuances of his own brilliant performances.
ताल फिल्म में जो आपने ग्लासेस फेंके थे ना, that was beautiful. वो उस टाइम पे क्या चल रहा था आपके दिमाग में?
I can't remember.
There is a frame in which Ranveer is so close to Akshay Khanna's face that I couldn't help but feel this is an introvert's nightmare to be in a room where he is constantly praised, especially with such a contrasting personality like Ranveer by his side. Akshay is one of those actors who is concerned with the act of doing more than speaking about it, and I think he makes it clear in several interviews.
I don't have a process. And even if I do, I don't know how to talk about it.
It's sometimes hilarious if you've sat through this roundtable just to see his reactions, because I spiritually connect with it. It's the most dry response to the most abundant praise, and it's cinema gold in my opinion.
My boy, don't you want to play a character who's got 75 kilo balls? So I was like...
And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below whether you have some video ideas for our channel. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.